Hey y'all, and welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach, and today it's barn chat time. So if you haven't caught these in the past, basically barn chat is when something really impactful or crucial that's happening on in our lives, in the world, in your lives. It's a hot topic of discussion. I like to sit down, break it down, inform you, let you have the information, give you some solutions, and then go off about your way, because knowledge is power. And this one we really need to talk about. So today's chat is going to be about something that is showing up in our snacks, it's showing up in our breads, it's showing up in our beans, it's literally showing up everywhere. It is a weed killer and it is wrecking us. It is called glyphosate. Yeah, if you haven't heard, glyphosate is the weed killer that is in Roundup. That is the top dog that is in there, and it is used on our food. So it is sprayed on a lot of our plants. Some examples are like corn, soy, canola, cotton. But then on the flip side of that, to help keep the weeds down and the bugs away, it's also sprayed to help dry out a lot of things, like your lentils, like your wheat, your oat, your lentils, your chickpeas. All of that has it on there. So you may be thinking, like, why are you bringing this up, Zach? Like, we all know commercial crops are sprayed. We know they're heavily sprayed with a bunch of different stuff so they can have their harvest and their crops at the end of the year. You're correct. There are chemicals that are being sprayed on that, but glyphosate is being just all over everything that we're eating, and it is so bad for our bodies that it's time to make a change, and we truly can. And then within this video, it is not going to be fear-mongering. It is strictly information for you to have, and then some solutions for you to take home and start making some changes ahead of the way. So first off, let's talk about why glyphosate is so bad. Because you actually got to be careful with the whole phrasing, like it's a weed killer. So is vinegar, right? And we can ingest vinegar. Glyphosate's not that level. It is actually a chemical, and it's funny, they actually patented it and labeled it as an antibiotic, but it is absolutely a gut health destroyer. It will open you up to autoimmune systems. It will open you up to having lower tolerance, availability for different types of food. Hence, when it comes to gluten, you know, gluten's one that's getting really popular right now. And a lot of that is because of the glyphosate. It's not necessarily that you have a gluten intolerance, it's the glyphosate that's been all over the gluten and the grains is making your body not able to accept gluten anymore. It also even can impact your mental state. It is that strong of a chemical to where you're in depressed moods, anxiety, stress. Glyphosate has been connected to attach to all of those things. Glyphosate is also known to be connected to having fertility issues and hormone imbalances. So, you know, we never want to talk about that stuff, but population control is a real thing. So sometimes when we're having fertility issues and hormone issues, that's making less babies, and less babies means population's going down, as we see in the future. But if you are a family that's just trying to have a kid and you're struggling, there is a chance that this could be partially connected back to glyphosate. Glyphosate also has a direct link to cancer. Yes, there has been thousands and thousands of lawsuits that Bayer, who is the company that owns Roundup now, has had to truly pay. That means that there was enough proof in the pudding that they're like, yep, we're connected to these cancer diagnoses that they have had to pay out millions and millions and billions, I think, dollars at this point because of the cancer connected related. That's all with glyphosate. And this is your biggest reason. If you have children or grandchildren, the kids' snacks and cereals and everything that's coming in a box now that's pretty is going to have glyphosate in it. Like, it's absolutely going to have it unless it's labeled organic and you're checking out the labels and it's very clean and you can tell that this is coming from trusted sources. But if you go into Walmart and you are walking through any of those aisles that have boxes and it's snacks and all those different treats full of glyphosate. So what can we do? And the biggest issue with that is our children are more vulnerable. Their bodies and immune systems have not built up to be able to try to fight this off. They're still growing. Their liver isn't there to help flush out these toxins yet, and we just keep pushing it in there. We're setting them up for failure before they even get to full size. And again, I know you're probably thinking, well, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. You're right, and I know if you're catching this video, it's because you've already started. You've already started to read some labels and check some things out. This is just the next thing that we need to be paying attention to. Like the dyes, right? A lot of us got really attracted to the dyes first, and we have really started to win. These things are coming out and they're saying without any dyes, you know, thank good. I don't know why red dye was absolutely in anything, but it was, and we started getting aware of it. So the more that us, the public, has this information and are getting aware of it, the less we may see it in our foods, because glyphosate is illegal. Like, it is absolutely illegal in other countries, and it's in Roundup. Like, it's in Roundup for weed killer. It is truly a chemical, and it is in, I want to say, at least 80 to 90% of our foods that we eat. It is that popular, and we just continue to put it into our systems. So that should be enough information for you to be like, okay, Zach, I got it. We've got to change something. So this is what we can start doing, and it's something that Jen and I have started doing for several months now. Hi, you coming to do the barn chat with me? This is Willa Dean. We're keeping she's the last little girl. If you've caught any of our other videos, we had Great Pyrenees puppies, and they're all to their new home. And Willa Dean's gonna stay here because Mama Dolly's a little old, and she's gonna be the future Great Pyrenees, aren't you? Yeah. Look, you're on camera. Look. Say hi, everybody. Oh. All right, chunky monkey. So what can we do? What are the steps that we take to try to prevent this? Now, here's the trickiest piece of glyphosate. It's not an ingredient on your carton. So when you're reading labels, it's not gonna say glyphosate's in there. If it does, then we've really got a problem if it's being that upfront about it. But it's because it's sprayed onto certain items. So what are certain items to look for and to stay away from? Corn syrup, canola, soybean, and anything basically wheat-based is gonna have glyphosate on it. Now, don't freak out. I hope you are taking some notes. We are actually gonna give you a free printable down below to where you can click, print it off, put it on your fridge, of stuff to watch out for and replacers for that. So don't freak out with the information. This is for you to understand just off the get-go and get you going. And I know organic's a little bit more expensive, and in the recession and situation that we're in right now, it's hard to even get groceries that you can. But if you can, going organic is going to be a better way to get away from the glyphosate, because if it's organic, it can't be sprayed with glyphosate. The one thing we do have to watch out for is if it is an organic farm amongst a bunch of commercial farms, you're going to get those crosswind sprays and stuff like that. Now, places like Azure Standard, they actually check, like they'll actually check that stuff and the ingredients to see if it has any cross-contamination. But most organic farms should be completely clean, especially going organic for certain things like wheat, berries, oats, corn, lentils, and anything in the bean family. The third step to start doing is sourcing smarter. You know, we all know in a pinch, if you have to go to Walmart or something like that, you can, it's okay. Let's try not to do that for some of our big bulk items. Stuff like flour, stuff like rice, lentils, all those beans, things that we're buying a bunch of. Let's not go to those kind of sources to get that, because that's where we're going to find the most glyphosate. Let's try to either source locally with local farms, or different companies like Azure Standard is really good when it comes to making sure that they're getting organic and glyphosate-free ingredients. But being organic, there are a lot of options that are out there now because so many people want it. So keep a lookout, keep your eye on it. Check for organic at Walmart or wherever, maybe if that's where you're shopping, try to shop somewhere else, but just check for the organic. But even then, make sure you're still reading that label. You still want to see what's on the back of it. If it's organic, it shouldn't be a long list of ingredients. We should be talking 1, 2, 3 at max if we're just talking a little bit of seasonings. But then again, we have to be careful with the seasonings that are being put on stuff too, because those seasonings are also sprayed, and that glyphosate is used to dry out those herbs quickly so they can become seasonings even faster. So just be careful with what you're buying and make sure that you're reading that label carefully before it becomes in your pantry. And because it is almost impossible to get glyphosate out of our body or away from us completely, it's either in the air that we're breathing, or it's we can't, like, there's something in the food that we're gonna have to buy, or we just forget, or we don't know that it's in it. It's still gonna be getting into our bodies. So one thing that we really need to make sure that we're doing is detoxing, and detoxing our liver, helping flush all the toxins out of our system. That helps get it out and not absorbing into our body. So things like our tincture that we have, milk thistle, is a detox for the liver and a gallbladder support. So make sure that you're taking milk thistle tincture every day, just to help have a nice nice, smooth detox of your body that's not making drastic changes, but it's helped flushing those toxins out and trying to keep your liver as healthy as it can be with all this other junk that is going down into our system. And you know, obviously when we do these videos, a lot of it is about our children. Like, we are thinking about the future. We want our kids to be able to be fertile, to have more babies. We want them to live long lives and not have cancer diagnoses that may be connected back to glyphosate. We as parents want to do good for them. But here's one big thing that you as the parent or grandparent or whatever you may be, sister, brother, uncle, we need to start doing this for ourselves just as much as we need to start doing it for the kids. I'm 35, about to be 36 this year. If you grew up in my time frame or anything around that, you know we were jam-packed with soybeans. It felt like everything we ate anywhere had some kind of soybean in it. And especially like if you had school lunches, soybean burgers were there. It was always some kind of bean that was going into our system, and it was one of the top things that were sprayed with glyphosate. And you know, you don't want to think that way, but it's also, like I said before, population control. You know, they're doing some of this stuff, so like, we all know if there is a cure for something that they could probably figure it out, but it also would mean the population would continue to rise instead of going down. And that is, you know, potentially a serious problem. We just don't need it on our food. We need to stop making sure that we're making it easy on them and just eating what they are already putting poison on. And this is just the next one for you to understand. There's going to be more that we need to keep our eyes on. The biggest thing that we need to do is we need to realize just because it's on the shelf and just because it's legal doesn't mean that it's not poison. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, it's just got too much fat or it's high in sugar or this and that. Poison. Like, this is, I don't care what you can have a honey bun or whatever you want. The glyphosate on our grains is worse than saturated fats. This is cancer stuff. This is death chemicals that we are in. Almost every meal, 80% of it has glyphosate that's going down into us. But we can easily take control of that. And a lot of that is, like I said, sticking with organic, making sure that you're getting these stuffs, the lentils, the beans, the corn, all that. You're making sure that you're getting that non-GMO and it's not being sprayed. And that's going to be the best way for you to try to get this out. It's all about balance. Balance is everything that we need to do in life. We need to make sure that we're putting more good than harmful into our bodies, and we will be all right. But every little step that we take in the right direction is making us better and helping fix the food system, because if we're not buying it, they will start fixing it. And so that's where we just need to continue to pay attention to what they are taking out and what maybe new things that they're adding in, because we all know it's not going to be beautiful. But steps in the right direction, us making steps at home, are all the good things for us having better health and our children having better health, which is the most important. And one of the biggest things I want you to take away from this video is this isn't go throw everything in your pantry away. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking start small, but just start. Just start somewhere. Like we preach to you all when we talk about in the garden. When you get a grocery haul, look at that grocery haul and say, what can I start growing? Go into your pantry and be like, okay, what's low? That, like, say maybe the rice is low or the beans are low. And you're like, okay, I need to think about buying some more of that. Let's do it organic, through Azure Standard. Let's find it local. Let's find it somewhere like that, so where we're making sure that we're not getting a glyphosate cocktail in the next batch of beans that we have, or the next batch of lentils or chickpeas, etc. Or let's take it even closer to that. When you go to the grocery the next time, let's maybe not buy that hummus that has chickpeas in it that you know has been sprayed like crazy. Let's maybe try to find the organic hummus. Then let's look at that label and see what that label says. Those are the steps that you can start taking, those small steps that you can start taking. And next thing you know, this will completely bubble over and you're about glyphosate free in your house. You're gonna see so many benefits to your body. You're gonna see if you have a gluten intolerance, that'll start getting better as your liver is able to flush out the toxins because it's not receiving more. And all of these things will start getting better in your life by making small steps to removing glyphosate from your diet. Mama jealous? Mama jealous? I know, old shack of bones. Old shack of bones. I'm just playing, she ain't that old, but she's getting up there. For you all having this truth and this knowledge, it is strictly power, is what I'm trying to say. You all have the power now and the knowledge to go do your own research, keep it up, and then also we're going to give you a starting point. So actually down below in the description, and then on Facebook, if you're watching on there, down below in the comments, we have a 2-page printable for you that's going to be very basic, very detailed and in your face things to stay away from, things to make as alternatives. This is for you. It's completely free. We're not charging. We want health. We want you to have better health. And this was just a document that Jim was able to throw together that is very informative. And it gives you a lot of knowledge to just put on your fridge and be able to reference when you're doing your grocery list, your grocery haul, stuff like that, to make sure to help you make better choices of glyphosate free. And then just knowing that you as a parent, a grandparent, you're taking a step and you're taking a stance and helping better health for yourself and your family. And that in itself feels absolutely amazing as a grown adult, parent, whatever you may be. And for the record, anybody that watches this, I actually made sure I pronounced that thing right. I had to go listen to it several times. So if you didn't hear it, it's glyphosate. Glyphosate. That is what is the ingredient that is in Roundup and in primarily all of our foods. So I hope that you all found this video knowledgeable and informational and something that allows you to go forward and thinking of other things that might be going on in our food system that we need to keep our eye on. But I promise you, just keep checking them labels, keep rating them. The smaller the ingredients, the better it is. But don't let those few ingredients fool you too. Make sure that we're getting it from a place that's not been sprayed and it is organic, because those are the steps in the right direction. Y'all, I really enjoyed hanging out with you. I hadn't done a barn chat in a while, so this is fun. Let me know down in the comments if you've already started fighting glyphosate and what steps you have done to replace it. And then also any information or questions that you have about it, we'll be happy to answer down in the comments and chat with y'all there. Y'all, if you haven't joined our Discord, absolutely do so. That is down in our description as well. That's where we're basically texting each other. We can have longer, drawn-out conversations with one another, and it's a great time in there. So if you would like to join that, you can. Don't forget that free printable download at the bottom. If you want milk thistle, that's at our website, thestivershomestead.com. That is the liver detox. That'll also be down in the description. So I know that was a lot of information, but just go down below this video and expand that bad boy, and you'll get to see all that information that I just said. Y'all, we love you, and until the next one, bye.